Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In honor of Memorial Day, I wanted to take the time to appreciate what our veterans did for us. Without our veterans bravely fighting for what the freedoms we have today and sacrificing their lives, their blood, or not their blood, their bodies, and their livelihoods to give us what we have today, which is, as Americans, freedom of speech, the rule of law, the power to determine your own destiny, the pursuit of happiness, and so much more. It was all paid for by blood, whether it was from those who fought in World War II against, the evil empire, or was fought, in World War I against the Germans again, or, whether it was, fought in the wars after that during the Cold War where, we preserved capitalism as the best form of, essentially as the best economic structure. But I kind of want to focus more on the first two world wars, especially World War II, because it was much more significant to what we see today. Without their brave fighting in the deserts of North Africa, or their valiant invasion of Sicily, or their conquest through the mainland of Italy, or their infamous invasion of Normandy, France, in what's now known as D-Day. Our veterans, they fought tooth and nail and gave everything they had to ensure that you and I still have the same freedoms that they did 85 years ago. 85 years ago. And so with these freedoms, such as the ability to practice our faith, to have public discourse, to disagree, but then still be able to walk away at the end of the day, not be thrown in jail because we think a different way, because we think different than someone else, because maybe we don't like a form of government, maybe we don't like a certain president, maybe we don't like presidents, maybe we don't like our government, but the ability to have that disagreement and walk away free, a free person, a free man, a free woman. That was given to us by what our veterans fought for in World War II and World War I. And as well as the ability to own our own property, to have private property, to be able to work hard for something and be compensated for it. Not to be, you work hard for something, you work 12 hours, a day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and then the government just takes it. Something that would be seen in a socialist society like a China or, a Stalinist Russia, or a 1940s German Reich. The ability to work hard for something and have it be truly yours, but also have the ability to help other people without being forced to do so. In other words, you want to actually go ahead and help other people out of the goodness of your heart. Not because because of some person in a faraway place telling you that you should do so. Just because they're at the head of some country. Without these efforts, Europe most likely would have been a would have been unified under absolute German control. A new German empire, if you will, which would be ruled with an iron fist. No discourse, everyone's the same, everyone has to conform to what they deem is fit, which is obviously not right, and it's not going to be correct the way they see things, obviously. Not to mention, freedom would be pretty much crushed. Holocaust would 100% have persisted. In other words, it would have kept going because nobody would be there to stop it. And more people would have just ended up dying at the hands of the fascist regime. And so again, I think, and ultimately I think our appreciation for, or public appreciation for our veterans it's not as much as it should be. It goes unnoticed. You know, our veterans go unnoticed. Don't get me wrong, the wars of the Cold War, the little proxy wars that happened from the Cold War, namely Korea and Vietnam, it left a bad taste in the mouths of the American public, especially towards our military, because it went from a force for good, to fight off evil people that wanted world domination and to destroy our way of life and keep us essentially prisoners in our own homes, in our own country, and transformed it into a force for political gain. And so what I'm calling for today is to kind of shift the time back, to turn the clock back. Turn the clock back to about the 1940s, the 1930s, the 1950s, where we appreciate our veterans for what they did for us. For reluctantly going out in foreign countries and braving the elements and all the other crazy things that happen in war. All the bombings, all the raids, all the shrapnel that was flying around and all the, the bullets whizzing by their heads as they didn't know whether they're going to live another day or not. They were just living for today. That's really what it was. But they did all that because they loved their country. They loved our country, the United States of America, enough to not let it die. At least not at the hands of a bunch of basically foreign Germans. And Japanese as well. That wanted to, again, destroy our way of life. And so what I'm going to leave you with today is, it's interesting because it's a quote from John F. Kennedy's inaugural address. It says, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." Because at the end of the day, we're not supposed to live for ourselves. We're supposed to live for each other. We're supposed to sacrifice. Sacrifice for each other. Help each other. Try to build up a world that was better than the one that was torn down, or the decrepit one that still exists today. Anyways, again, in honor of Memorial Day, I wanted to have this share this message with you guys. But if you enjoyed this, if this resonated with any of you, feel free to give it a like, or throw a comment down in the section below, or subscribe to my channel if you want to. It's not a big deal to me either way. But yeah, you know the drill. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.